Oh dear, why did I say exciting times? I got an email from the petition that I signed about not introducing digital IDs in the UK. And it was about 5 paragraphs of why it's going to be good for us. And then a little bit at the end that said, we may put this out for debate. So basically, that means they're not going to debate it and they're just going to push it through. That's the most likely thing that's going to happen. So out of these, there's like 75 million people in the UK, only 3 million people have signed it. So in theory, it means that the majority of the population are for it. It's either that or they're just not really that bothered. They're too busy with, not having any money at the moment and struggling to even bother about this. It's just too difficult to even sort of like entertain stopping it. So yeah, it's insane. I don't understand it. The UK that I grew up in is not now the UK that I'm living in. As a family, we've decided to leave the UK, and we decided this long before this digital ID stuff came in, actually. And it just happens to be that we'll be leaving before they bring it in. Am I happy about that? Yeah, I am. Because I can't see any relevance as to why it helps the population. So, to put it in context, you've got illegal people working illegally. So you've got illegal businesses employing illegal people. Illegally. So it's all illegal. None of these people have national insurance numbers or any form of ID that's UK based. So the only people that are going to require to have digital IDs are people that actually follow the rules, which are not the people that are working illegally. So why not just enforce some rules that we already have that say you can't work illegally, which they're not doing. So what's going to happen? You're going to get people that have come into the UK and opened for example, a barber's shop, because there's loads of those, and then employ people to work from there illegally. How are you going to stop that? Well, you can't, because none of them have got the right paperwork anyway. It's irrelevant. So the digital IDs are going to be, I assume, designed for anybody that lives in the UK legally. And if you're already doing that, you're going to have a national insurance number. You're going to have a tax code. You're going to have all of these things that already identify you and put you into the system. So you're cracking down on the people in the system rather than for the people that are like living outside the system illegally. It doesn't make any sense to me. My first thought was, they'll link it to banks and all of the other things. So everything will be linked digitally, which is great until someone hacks into it all and empties your bank and changes your identity. Because we are the worst company in the world, the worst country in the world for keeping anything a secret. Police files for people get left on trains. It's just, no, I'd rather not. I don't think it's safer. I think it's actually less safe having everything digitally, because people hack in and they can do whatever they want. And that's proved time and time again that that's easy for people to do. So the country I'm now living in is nothing like the country I grew up in. It really isn't. The price of everything is excessive. The tax rules are becoming worse for people that are working normally. They want to change houses, in terms of buying and selling houses, they want to change all of that so the buyer and the seller has to pay tax. It's just, they're trying every single way to get every single penny out of us, to a point where it's not, don't want to live here. So luckily we're going. And I feel quite sorry for people that have set up in the UK, they've just bought their first house, they think they've got a decent job, and they think they're winning. And then they get their pay packet and they go, God, I can hardly afford to live. Why don't they sort of focus on that? Giving people a decent standard of living and being able to afford a house, being able to afford a car, all these kind of things that people are actually going to struggle to afford and actually be able to live. And earlier generations are going to say things like, well, the interest rate was this amount when I was young, and this. Yes, I've seen that a lot. But cost of everything in the UK, including houses, has gone up so much more than wages have. And I've seen people saying, well, you need about 70,000 average wage to be comfortable in the UK now. And you're just like, I don't know anybody earning that. To put this into context, mine was less, when I was working in the woods, mine was less than 30,000. And that was, we were living on a single wage. And about half of that wage went back into my work. Caravans, food, staying away, chainsaws, diesel, petrol, oil, all of these things that I had to pay for. So we were living on effectively half of that as a family that was home educating with my wife being at home. Is it possible? Yeah, no, it is just about possible. Is it fun? No, not really. Is it a good standard of living, would you say? It's okay. It's safe. Did we want to continue it? No. So we're going to go and find some sun. We're going to work digitally that we're setting up. And we're going to enjoy ourselves. Unfortunately, in terms of what we're doing, we'll still have to pay tax back to the UK unless we become a resident of another country. That's an option. We'll see what happens. So watch this space.